The coaching video. Yes, yes, I did. Have you? Yes, correct, correct. We help each other to film. Have you done yours? Okay, that's good. Yeah. So I uploaded on Moodle and apparently Mark couldn't. Okay. Is it tough to upload on YouTube? Yes. Okay, okay. I need to find out how to do it on YouTube, or even like I think do it on Google Drive and provide him the link, I think. Yeah. That's what he says. Yeah. Do I sound very echoey? No, okay. Yeah, you sound okay. You sound okay. Very clear. And hopefully he comes in. 8 o'clock. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah, I have the list with me. Yes. And talent identification. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Kids, right? Also under 6 years old. Wow. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Also, that means his athletes are all under 6 years old. So how old did he start for soccer? Oh, young, my goodness me. Yes, precisely. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah, so young. Okay. Hey, where's Ashraf? Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's Ashraf. Oh, Ikwan is coming in.
Hi guys.
Hi.
Good evening. Guys, can you hear me?
Hi.
Yes, yes, hold on. Yeah, hold on, a moment. Hi. You guys hear me? Yeah, I know. Hold on, just get me on this side here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a little bit dark because I'm actually just outside the door, but I was just from the office. I mean, yeah. Okay, no worries. I'm good for that. Thanks a lot, guys, for having me. Uh, to be honest, in my academy, I actually run a few titles. If you must, like I'm actually the head of soccer school program for the under sixes. But in the elite programs, I actually run the youth development phase program, which is sevens and nines, and also goes to. So whichever demographics you want me to be inside, I think you can put that in your demographic model title, and then I'll just speak in accordance to what the demographic is about. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no, not strictly. Yeah, I know it's gonna be tough because to be honest, under sixes is not the kind of demographics that people usually look at if you want to do like coaching interviews. I would say the demographics under my girls 15 would fit best because those are definitely the age groups that you can actually look at to have something to talk about a lot more because they are at that level where they understand what the learnings are about and how I'm actually able to observe what they can produce and whatever that comes along with it. Yeah. What do you guys think? Like, what kind of demographics are you guys looking at?
Cause we're still learning students, so I don't know about Jen and Ashraf, but when I was like preparing this our question, like kids 6 around there, very hard lah. Like
Second,
like how do you get kids to listen to you and they're so young, so how do you conduct training when all they want to do is the ball?
Like under six will be challenging.
Yeah, honestly speaking, like what I would like to describe to the rest of them if they ask me how my job is supposed to be like I deal with two of the most difficult groups in football when it comes to coaching. Like I'm dealing with under sixes, they are what I call my little devils. They listen if they want to, they run a lot, they run away if they would like as well. And I'm also dealing with the girls group. Why the girls group specifically? Because they're at an age where they're growing and they're learning a lot more about life than just for football. So whenever they come for training, sometimes they do have a lot of things going on with them, school, friends, outside commitments, and they're at an age where they're actually growing up. So I got to deal with them like as if I'm dealing with adults, even though they are just about entering their teenage life. So the balance has to be there. So like I said, so whichever demographics you guys are looking at to speak about, I will fit in exactly, because if we're going to be speaking in general, there's a lot of bases to touch on because I'm doing three different age groups if you must. Yeah.
Should we just fire some questions?
Say again?
Should we just fire some questions at you?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm okay with that. Like, do you want to actually go by the coaching interview process that you guys have actually prepared for me, and I can actually answer just quickly, but with details, whatever that is needed, in order for it's gonna help you out a lot more in terms of understanding how coaches work. Yeah, would that be good?
Yeah.
So then in that case, should we stick to the girls group? They are teenagers, right? They are teenagers.
Yeah, they are 2005 and 6 born, so they're 15 and 16 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, 15 to 16 years old.
Yeah, is that good enough for you guys?
Yeah.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll stick to that. I think it's a safer group to deal with.
Okay, so we'll start off with basic questions about your coaching style. Namely, what is your motto or your coaching belief that you follow? Like, if it were summed up in a sentence.
In a sentence, Wow. Okay. I'm not really good with words, so definitely to
It's
put
okay.
into
It's okay.
sentence is
So
not
you
quite
can
possible.
you can also describe like how you want like how you usually go about your coaching.
Right. Um, my my approach in coaching is very simple. What I believe in is very simple. What you learn, you gotta produce it, and whatever that you produce, you gotta make sure it's the best. It's the best where it is the best in the situation that you are trying to execute it through, because it's where you actually put whatever it's whatever that I have actually planned out being put out into life on the pitch, and whatever that they learn on the pitch, they're gonna put it into practice so that the next time around when they go for games, they are actually able to um, uh, like replicate it again, but in situational play. So like they need to understand that these transitions happen, and for them to actually produce it from what they see to what they learn, and from they learn to how they can apply it in situations. Yeah.
I see. I see.
Are you
That's
talking
the
about
flow that I'm
skill,
looking at when
or
talking.
are you talking about skills on the pitch or life lessons?
Well, I would say it kind of applies to both, but because more specifically in football now, the focus is a lot more on football specific. But I like where you're coming from, and I do have that practice as well. Things like simple things like how they should be behaving when they're around with their peers, how they should actually have that mutual respect for one another. Things like when they are collecting my equipments for me, like markers, footballs. Some of them like to be a bit playful, when it's required for them to actually switch I say positions, let's say from defending to attacking, and then they're gonna pass over the beeps. Some of these kids love throwing the beeps into the friend's face instead of passing it over, handing over nicely. So my what I do would usually be for them to get the beeps again and to be passing the beeps over nicely, hand them over nicely, so that these kids learn that there should be this mutual respect with their peers when they're training even. So yeah, I like where you're coming from, Ashraf. Right? It's those kind of small little things that they can learn about life in general, but football specific, that's where I'm coming from. Like, learning what they see into learning what they can actually get on from the pitch, and what they learn from the pitch, they put into practice in situations when they go for games. Yeah.
See.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay.
No worries.
Jen?
Okay, how long have you been coaching?
Unofficially about 15 years. Not 15. I'm sorry, 13 years. Yeah, 12 or 13 years, and then officially 10 years. Yeah, I really started quite. I started quite a
Aside
young
from
age.
coaching, because we learned something during our course, like fairly recently that in Singapore, is it true that coaching is not really sustainable? So coaches usually have like a main job. Is that right? What do you think?
Honestly speaking, it's how you see it and what you would like to actually get out of it. From I would actually like to see coaching as a career pathway for those who are definitely passionate in it, who have big interest in it, and being able to uh, get like a general satisfaction out of it, good contentment out of it. Because it really, in any kind of job that you will see, it's the passion and the desire, the enthusiasm in it that you put extra, that actually draws the lining between it being a job that brings your paycheck and a job that you really would like to have a career and progression in. So for me, coaching can also be a career. And in Singapore itself, if you put your heart, your soul into it, yeah, you will definitely be able to make that a career for yourself. Because I'm having that as a career for myself. That has been my main job for the past 5 years. It's just the status. It's just the status of that job that I'm in. Like I was an intern, and then into becoming a full timer, and then now
So you were an intern at JSL first, and then you
I was. And then I
I
became a full timer, for about 1.5 years, I think. And then I followed through with becoming a pro staff because I would like to have that flexibility so I can run other coaching sessions with other organizations outside and all. Yeah. But I have like good examples of my colleagues who have actually successfully made coaching their career. If you are in the football news, like you have definitely heard of my good friend who was my general manager and my technical director in my academy, Gavin Lee. He's current
Happiness Rover, right?
head coach.
That guy?
Tampines Rovers, yeah. He's the youngest head coach to have coached a professional team in
He's
Singapore.
what? 21, right? Is he 21?
29 years old. 29 years old last year. Yeah, at 29 years old, he was the youngest accredited coach to be able to run a professional football league team in Singapore. So that's one example. And I have another colleague of mine who is making coaching a career where he has good football licenses that allows him to be undertaking the youth programs in the club scene itself. So under Tampines Rovers, he is actually in charge of the under 21s, which will be the feeder team to the main professional Super Premier League team that David is running. So these two big examples are enough for me to actually prove that coaching can be a career for sure. It's just how you want it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just now you mentioned that about the bibs, like for your training, like you want to impart discipline to your athletes and that kind of thing. Yeah, like applying what they learn on the pitch to, like, you know, outside. Do you feel that positive reinforcement is more important than negative reinforcement? Like, let's say punishment. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, my style of coaching, I would touch on that first, would be a lot of parents would describe it as very old school. I know, yeah, I'm quite young to be a coach, to making coaching as a career, but my style of coaching is really old school, maybe because of the way I was being coached last time down. You know, a lot of firmness, a lot of aggression, a lot of being assertive in what you want to do to make sure that these players listen and produce whatever that you are expected to do. But you know, at the end of the day, I would like to have the little bit of the different touch in terms of positive reinforcement, because I have never actually believed in negative reinforcements in order to produce something positive in training itself. Yeah, for me to be able to expect them to do good passes, I don't make them do 10 push-ups just because they are not able to make one pass. But I do have old school coaches who have done that before. You know, me personally, when I was a player last time, my coach will always start us off with 25 laps around the field before we start football. So that itself is quite a negative reinforcement, because it's like a benchmark. If you don't hit 25 laps around the field, you will not be able to join the training. You will not be able to join the training. But not like as if we will be able to, because by the time we finish 25 laps, our legs are very much jelly. Yeah, but that's what I'm
kind of
talking
feel
about.
that. I used to play a competitive sport, not soccer, when I was in poly, so I kind of understand. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Ashraf, you want to ask something?
Yeah. So, Ikwan, what qualifications are you holding?
I'm 30 years here.
Sorry?
How old am I, right?
What qualification are you holding?
Oh, okay. Football-wise or academics-wise?
We know Mark has
basic
a master's, so that's about it.
Yeah. I have a master's in exercise and sports studies. I just recently graduated from it. So actually, lecturer Mark, he is my classmate. Yeah, he's my classmate. But football-wise, I'm actually currently holding an AFC C license football coach, which allows me to actually professionally run sessions for youth programs, such as the ones between I think 12 to 15 years old. Yeah, but just youth programs, nothing semi-professional at all. But it should be in a professional scene.
That's a different license on itself, is it? Like,
yes. So So in Singapore, you have the grassroots, which allows you to understand the basics of football, fun football basically. Then you have followed by the C license, which what I'm currently holding. That's the most basic that everyone would have if they would really like to have coaching as a career, because that can help you to have some form of credit to yourself. And it will be followed by B license. I was supposed to take my B license, have my B license last year, but because of COVID, it was put on hold. And so currently, I don't know what's the status of me. B license will allow me to actually take semi-professional teams, which means to say those National Football League teams in Division 1 and 2. So that's like the second tier of level of football in Singapore after the professional teams. And also, it will allow me to take the Center of Excellence teams, the ones that my colleagues is taking, the under 15s, under 18s, and under 21s for the different clubs in Singapore.
So can I ask, how do you progress from the grassroots to the C license, the B license?
It's your choice,
or is there any?
Of course. It's your interest whether you want to take it up, and once you take it up, you will also have to have some, you have to spend some time in it. So like between C license to B license, you definitely have to spend 1 to 2 years of coaching to actually have your hours inside. And the number of hours for you to be able to take the next level of coaching will definitely differ. Like, I think if I'm not wrong, from C license to B license, it should be, I think I'm going to get the number wrong anyway, but it should be between 40 to 50 hours of coaching. So one session is usually about 1.5 hours. So that's not too many sessions, to be honest. It's like half a year, you should be able to take a B license, because it's just to show that you have consistency in coaching, so that you are practicing your coaching practices. Yeah. So from B license to A license allows you to take professional teams within Singapore, within the local scene. Yeah, once you have the pro license, you are able to take teams outside of Singapore. But beyond it, like, this kind of English Premier Football league teams, you definitely will have to have the UEFA based.
Like those internationally recognized,
Yes.
accolades. Okay, I see.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Okay. On your coaching style, right? Not your coaching style, like for your coaching sessions, which factors affect the effectiveness of your coaching? Like things like when you coach, what don't you like to disrupt the process? Like,
what do you mean?
Do you undisciplined athletes, or like kids not showing up or whatever?
Ooh, wow. There's actually a lot of factors that I actually pay attention to, because I pay attention a lot to details. So all these different things that I do ensure of, it all comes cumulatively. Like what you mentioned, if players mention that they will be turning up but they don't, it shows that lack of discipline. If they show up but not in proper attire, it then shows that you are not entirely showing that you want to be ready for my session. So how do I know that you're ready to learn if you're not ready to present yourself well enough to be on the pitch? Yeah. I always have these small basic practices of my players coming in the proper attire, which is the grey top, black shorts, and black socks, because that's the standard of my attire in terms of training in my academy anyway for the program. So if they turn up in like light blue shorts or orange shorts, I will be questioning them, no matter how young they are, because they know my standards. Like, it is supposed to make them look as a team, and if you don't, then I don't want anyone else to feel like they're any more special than anyone else on the pitch. Like, and I have this I would say pet peeve of how players appear in like ankle socks in the trainings. You don't show me that you don't show me that you are in a football attire where you're ready for it. And second of all, you don't pay attention to safety at all, because with long socks you are supposed to be having your shin pads on. Yeah. So even if they have long socks and they don't have shin pads on, I'm gonna make them go up to the admin to check for any spare
Spare.
machine bags that you can actually have before they can come in. Yeah,
see.
but standards are there. Yeah. So basically, it revolves around a lot of showing discipline, so that you show me that you're ready, then I'm ready to actually let you learn as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Jen?
hope I'm not very lengthy with my questions here.
No,
I mean,
no.
the longer
Yeah.
the better actually.
yeah, because I know the last time around I did something like this, but it has something got to do with more of like health and fitness. I needed to do a lot of listening back and picking up the main points.
Yeah.
I know it's really, really tough. Yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
So I don't want to be delayed too much. Yeah.
Okay. A question I have here is okay, basically, like if you coach, like now you mentioned that you also coach teenagers and their girls and they are aged like 15 to about 16, right? So I think at that age they are very emotional. So it's like, how do you like as a coach see that you are there to also give them the support, but yet like draw a fine line between like, okay, now it's training, so we should put aside, you should put aside your problems, right? So do you as a coach like instill this into them when they come onto the field to train?
I think for myself, I am a very firm coach. I would say if you guys attend my training sessions, you would actually understand where I'm coming from. Like I'm a very firm coach. I'm very assertive. I demand a lot in terms of them meeting the expectations of football trainings. So having that actually allows these players to know what are the expectations and standards they need to meet the moment they step onto the pitch, the moment they put on their football attire, because for the 1 to 1.5 hours, you are expected to have your focus over here for football. If you know that you cannot focus in football here, you should take your leave. Take your leave in terms of not attending sessions, but with valid reasons. And I would understand. I've had players who have had family problems. I'm not going to be mentioning names. I'm not going to be mentioning what kind of problems, of course. I've got players who have had family problems. I've got players who have had personal issues. I've got players who have had issues, rubbing shoulders with other players. So these kind of things happen, and I would say that if they're not ready to attend my trainings, they know they shouldn't be there. So it has become like a benchmark, like a basic standard for them to adhere to before they step onto my pitch. So your question being, what again? I'm sorry.
So now is I kind of understand that you do draw a fine line. Like there's a line whereby like during training they have to give their 100%, but after the training is done, then like like that they do speak to you about their problems today.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, and then you will be there to give them the support.
Hello?
Oh,
you froze. He froze. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, okay. Yep, you're back.
Okay,
great.
Hello.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm breaking up.
It's okay.
No problem.
Yeah. So yes, I do draw the line when it comes to football, because I think whatever issues, whatever problems that you have got, if you want to be in training, the focus should be 100% inside. But once you're done with training, any issues of yours, whatever I can help with, it will definitely be mine to help out to, because if I'm someone that you look up to, I'm someone that you trust in to help out with whatever issues that you have, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's football wise, whether it's anything in general, social, I'll be there for them. What I learned from my very senior coach, who happens to be my Gavin, my technical director that I spoke about. Like this senior coach is the dad to Gavin Lee, so he's still coaching my academy, and he runs the same goals program as me, just taking the older group. Like what he always say is, you want to give these players a hell of a time on the pitch, you give so, but once you're done, you need to sayang them too. Sayang, meaning to say you really gotta show that you love them, because at the end of the day, it's the give and take that allows them to see that this is the kind of environment that I can be in. Serious at one time, and also being able to seek help whenever they need to, in whatever possible way we can. Yeah. So for my goals, like naturally being more emotional, I would like I actually find myself speaking to them with regards to any issues they need help with, especially schools. Like if they have any issues dealing with anyone in school, because sometimes they don't really they can be having a lot of social issues when it comes to hanging around, making friends, or even I don't know, bullying cases and whatnot. Yeah. So I feel like if I can be there for them, I will be. But that will be definitely outside of training, because during training, like you want to be there, you have to be there. Leave your problems aside, and then after that, when we come back to it, we can definitely talk about it. Yeah.
I see.
Last one now? Yeah.
Yep.
Ikwan, so why did you decide to coach?
Wow, I've always loved sports. So, okay, a little background story of myself. I've always loved wanting to represent something in my life. So when it comes to sports, obviously you want to have that opportunity to represent at a certain level at any point in time. So I've always wanted to play professionally, but the opportunities didn't come by that easily. So uh, I I found myself a way to give back in order to like develop and nurture players, so that whatever that I cannot achieve, I would love for them to achieve those. Yeah, so that's it's really giving. It's not really giving back precisely by like helping others to achieve what they would like to, because I know what it feels like if you will not be able to attain that. Yeah, a lot of issues per se, political mainly, also opportunities that arise for me not being for me, whether or not I am able to actually break into the professional scene the last time round. So that's a tough call for me. And at some point in time, I have to be realistic to myself. Like, will I be able to actually achieve it? So at the point in time, I realized it might not be achievable anymore. Why not? I put the energy, put the enthusiasm that I have for football into coaching, so that instead of for myself, I share it with others and see how far they can actually go. Yeah. So that's how it all started with coaching, and football has always been something that I love. So it's just
I
very
see.
apt that these two comes together. Yeah.
On the topic of passion, do you think passion is important, like the most important thing when it comes to developing talent?
Mhm.
Or is there anything else that you think that, can be said that can argue with that?
I will concur with that for sure. You definitely need passion to develop talent, because otherwise, like I told you, how how the lining is between coaches who are there to earn, and for coaches who are there to develop players. Then earning will be important, but it will be secondary, because your primary goal is to actually make develop or nurture players, right? So you definitely need passion, because whatever other things that comes along with it, it will be what you can produce for these players. Like if you have passion, you will have the enthusiasm, you will have the energy, you will have the desire, and all things positive that comes along with it, in order for you to put a focus into developing that talent. Yeah, I would say, yeah, I would say that it works very well. I can't really think offhand any other important factors in developing talent, except for the fact that it has to come from the players' willingness and interest to develop their own talents and gifts. They must be able to identify that for themselves as well, and for them to know it's not good enough, for them to want to actually make that happen for themselves is also equally important. So two hands to clap. It's not just on my side to be passionate, but also for players to actually know what they're good at and what they want to do for them to be able to be better at what they're good at. Yeah.
I see.
Mhm.
Jen?
Okay. So at the moment you are a full-time coach and you do not have any other jobs, right?
Okay. I have never had any other job ever since I started my internship.
Oh,
Except but during my internship times, I was still schooling. So to supplement that, I just did a couple of odd jobs. But then it came to a point where I told myself, it is not something that I would like to have per se throughout my whole life. If I would like to study sports, I would like to advance myself in sports, and I'm still doing odd jobs. I would actually need to find jobs that actually goes along in the line of the sports industry. So that's why I kind of stop myself in doing these odd jobs and focus a lot more on this exercises and whatnot, or all
okay.
these sports matters. Yeah. So
Okay.
for now, I am not actually holding any other jobs. I am actually doing fully coaching, whether it's private coachings, whether it's academy sessions, or because I'm also running a women's team in the women's national league. So that's a head coach. That's a head coach post. So I would say it still comes in the sense of the coaching career.
Okay. Then do you think that being a coach in Singapore is sustainable in terms of the income? Do you think that as a coach, do you get enough, or you kind of feel that it's like, I think the income should be higher as compared to other countries?
Wow.
I mean,
That's a
I'm
tough
not
call.
sure because
Yeah, no worries. That's all.
but
Like
the thing, I mean, for me, right, I mean, I'm not really a big football fan, but I do know that, like, for example, in Europe, the coaches are being paid a lot, I'm sure. So
yeah, you are right.
correct.
You are
Yeah.
right about that. You are right about
Yeah.
that. But I think it comes with lots of responsibilities. You can see. I mean, like you're not with football, but I don't know about Kyle and Ashraf whether you watch football. You can see that there's a lot more that comes into it when it comes to football. Like it's not just coaching. They don't just have coaches around. They have football analysts. They have nutritionists. They have all those dealing with the technical sides of it, and many other stuff that happens alongside the sidelines when it comes to football. So I think for whatever that they're doing, they are definitely being paid their worth. In Singapore, they try to do that, but like I think how we always have known how Singapore runs, whatever that they try to make everyone more all-rounded rather than being good at something. So that doesn't justify the worth that you have in whatever that you're doing. So I would say definitely we coaches can be paid a lot more, but at the same time, if you want to be paid more, you need to prove your worth. You need to be able to show what you can offer. Like you don't ask to be paid more, and then at the end of the day, if you have to do a lot more reports, you have to do a lot more of analysis, then you'll be like, you know what, this is not my cup of tea. So then, why are you asking to be paid more then? Because you need to prove your worth. Yeah. So for me, if you're gonna ask for a number, I do have a number in mind when it comes to income to prove my worth. But in terms of how I am actually as a coach, I also know what is my worth when it comes to what I can provide in coaching. So yeah, you definitely need all those.
Do you mind sharing that number with us?
Ooh, wow. That's a tough call, man. But okay, I would not say let's not speak for myself, but in general,
Yeah, in
like
general. Do you think
from
that,
what I
in
understand,
general?
okay, from now what I understand right now in current football scenes, I hope this doesn't get leaked out because I might get the numbers wrong. From what I understand, at least they are earning above 4 or 5, but definitely not hitting the 5 digit, I would say. Yeah, definitely not hitting the 5 digit. So, like I said, how you prove your worth for you to be able to keep yourself close to the 5 digit figure but definitely not 5-digit. While you working on coaching as a career outside of Singapore, in Europe, you can easily get 5-digit as a player, what more a coach? Because a player,
Yeah.
you're working for the team. For a coach, you are working with the team. So you should be paid more generally. Yeah. So I would say that I would like to see myself along the line of those, because if I don't see my worth in that, then I don't know how I can actually prove myself that I'm worthy of the worthy of a coach and worthy of what I am actually able to offer when it comes to coaching. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Specifically, let's not get to that.
Okay. What characteristics do you look for in your athletes to be considered like talent?
Ooh, wow. Let me just get back to what the philosophy and the motto that my academy has in order for them to be selected into the elite program. Right. So in general, my academy's philosophy would be to revolutionize youth soccer in Singapore, which means to say change the way people see football in Singapore for youths. Which means to say sending them for tournaments outside of Singapore, sending them for competitions within Singapore, giving them a different football experience altogether, so that they know that they are having the best football experience in Singapore itself. And when it comes to us, identifying the talents or picking up players for recommendations into the elite program, which is a big thing for them, we have this thing, what we call the pride value, PRIDE. Right? So each of the letter represents a factor that shows very well what the players need to have in them, or what they are willing to work on before they can be selected to be in the elite program. So we have the pride value. P is personality. It goes without saying that you have the personality. You will be able to show yourself well, how you bring yourself around with your peers, how you develop or how you maintain that relationship with coaches, with the admin, with your parents per se outside of football. That all accounts for how you are as an individual. So that's a big part of it. And then followed by R, responsibility, how responsible you are in terms of general matters like your own attire and your own timings when it comes to trainings. Do you take note of all these? Responsibility to your learnings. Like, are you willing to learn? Are you interested to learn? Then and only then we know that you should be in the elite program because you want to develop yourself. Then we have I, which is intelligence. This is very football specific. You go into what you know about football, what you want to learn about football, and what you want to learn about football in the future. Right? Football intelligence itself. So, and once you have the football intelligence, how are you actually applying it into situations, into practices, into games and whatnot? Right? Then you have D, which is desire. Right? D and E pretty much for me is the same, desire and energy. You show how much you want this, how much you want for yourself, how much you want to make everyone else proud, whoever that puts you into this program, like how much you want to prove yourself. And then the energy is how much enthusiasm, how much willingness you want to do well in football. Yeah. So I think these 5 factors is very, it gives, how do I say this? Wow, I'm a loss of words. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay.
These
Slow
5
down,
factors definitely, these 5 factors definitely, gives us the basis of how or what players should look for or what players should work on before they can think about wanting to do better in football further. If they are lacking in one of those, we still can give them the benefit of the doubt that they should be working on it. They can work on it as they progress along the program. But if they are showing only 1 out of the 5, I really honestly don't think that they are befitting the elite program that we run. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ashraf.
About progress, how do you track your athletes' progress? Just
Good
goals?
question. We have short-term goals and long-term goals for them. Short-term goals, I would say, would be just this is very casual. It's more casual where okay, why don't we speak of a long-term goals first? Yeah. So before the start of every season, we will have a sit down with the parents and speak of what are you looking for when you join this elite program? What are you looking forward to in this season that your child is having? Then we also speak to the child if they are old enough to understand what's going on. Like, what do you want for yourself in this coming season? And then they set certain objectives. Then we as we get along the year, the year of season, we track their progress and see how they have actually met. And then because there will be the first half of the season and the second half of the season. So they break it into two. After the first half of the season is done, they will have usually their Christmas break. So before the Christmas break, we will have a player parent meetup. It's like a player review. They will sit with us, and then based on the pride values, we will actually produce a simple player report for them to understand where are their strengths, where are their areas of improvement, what they have done well, what they can do better in, and general comments about them as a player, as an individual, on and off the pitch. How the coaches have actually assessed them in terms of all that, socially, psychologically, mentally, physically, and yeah, football wise. And it goes the same for the end year, because right after end year usually it makes more sense because this is I'm sorry guys. So end year would be something that it's a big thing for them because it concludes their year and like shows them the kind of progression that they have had, and then having small mini objectives of what they want to achieve for the following year if they're going to be with us. Yeah. So that's a long term, speaking long term. When it comes to short terms, weekly, we'll be having like objectives and sessions that goes into specific drills. And then after sessions, if I always open the floor for them to ask any questions if they want to approach me and ask me matters. The girls will actually come forward and ask me. If they don't, then I'm just assuming that they understood the whole session. And then at the end of 1 or 2 months usually, because I think it's about 4 to 5 months for half a year, half a season year. So like after 2 months or so, we'll always have this thing called the games week. The games week where we just play fully games. So during the games itself, we are actually able to assess these players in their 1 to 2 months of learnings. Have they actually learned something when it comes to attacking principles, defending principles, and all the techniques that they have been working on individually or as a team movements, football and non-football movements. We assess them during the game week itself, and then after that, we give them individual feedback. And if a need to, we'll also have a quick sit down with the parents and then, speak to them about or whether we have any issues with that. Yeah. And going into micromanaging, like whenever we see a player is not performing well enough, maybe coming into trainings late or not coming to trainings and whatnot, we'll definitely have a word with the parents right away, because we want to make sure that these players are still interested in the program, they are still befitting in the program, and they would want to be in the program instead of being forced by the parents, etc., etc. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
What is more important to you, participation or performance? Personally.
Personally,
yeah,
I would say participation, because you can do one without the other. Like you can do participation without performing, and you'll still be having fun, right? Because it depends on how you look at it. The moment you have that willingness and the interest to make yourself better, you will naturally just participate and do better in it. But if you want to perform, but at the end of the day, you don't participate at the first time, you don't make yourself physically present, then you will never be able to know whether you will be able to perform or not. Yeah, I would say participation. It's back to the basic.
The question I was actually thinking about is have you ever had like an athlete who is like, let's say, talented, like he or she is like physically gifted, or he can do the technical skills in football better than his peers, but he doesn't really come for training. Like,
yeah, we do. Of course.
yeah, so
Similar.
like how do you deal with this athletes? Like, he's good. He or she knows he's good, and that maybe he or she doesn't need to put that much of an effort compared to the other people who he or she believes that they're not say that they're lousy, but like he or she believes that, you know, better than them. How do you
Yeah.
solve this? Like discipline
Yeah.
or what?
So if you guys have learned about a little bit about sports coaching, like there in terms of identifying players, type of players, we coaches usually know of two types of players in general. Like one is what you call a training player, and the other one is what we call the game player. Because there are some players who can train so much, and yet every day
Cannot
during
play.
game time, there's a lot of they cannot play.
Yeah, they
Right?
choke. Right?
And yeah, they
Okay.
choke because there's a lot of they get nervous. They have a lot of different factors that affect them performance wise. And there are also players who are game players because they don't need to come for training, but when they come for game, they can just perform naturally. Yeah. So we need to strike a balance for both situations where for training players, how they train super hard, and no matter what, sometimes they only get like meager results when it comes to performance. So they
Okay.
might be dissatisfied with that. So how we actually help them out is motivate them, give them words of encouragement, always keep an eye on them during trainings and physically help them correct matters that, can actually help them to be better. And at the same time, mentally, always psyching them up, always paying attention to them when it comes to game day, to make sure that, they are on the same level as the rest of the players and not feeling jittery and whatnot. I know like nerves always comes during game days, but it's how we deal with them and to let them know that it's a collective effort of the team instead of just the players. That's how we motivate them and keep them in check so that they can actually perform a little bit better than they think they will be for training players. For game players, I think that's the one that you are referring to, Kyle. It's not
Yeah.
as easy to deal with them because they are what we call superstars.
Yeah,
Superstars
most of the
team.
time they become
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. They don't want to come for trainings, or they think that I don't need so much trainings for me to be good because I'm naturally gifted.
These
But what we
players
do,
usually like spark more like friction between them and the teammates, right? Is that right?
I would not put my say to that, but it can be at times. Yeah, but how to that the extent of that friction happening would be dependent on the coach. How quickly the coach actually addresses this kind of issues. But if you let it be, for sure, this will definitely create problems for the teams, for players around the team, for players within the team. If you deal with that as soon as possible, you can minimize the damage that they cause to the team. So I would say for this kind of players, my first approach for me, I'm a very direct person. If we're talking about goals here, right? If they're not attending my training, I will message them directly or speak to them directly because give them calls or whatnot to check on matters with them. Right? I will ask their friends, their close friends, because I know who they're close with, why they're not attending for training and whatnot. And if their friends are not being able to give me reasons, I know that there's something to think of, to worry about. Then check with them directly, check with the parents directly, see what's going on, and then address the issue itself. Like I would give them after I check on them the first time, I would give them some time to actually reflect, to actually understand whether this is the kind of situation that they want to put themselves into. And if let's say after 2 to 3 weeks, things will change. Within a month, nothing changes much. Like they're still attending trainings like once in every 2 weeks or so. Then I will definitely have a sit down with the parents or have a speak to the parents, either message or call to ask of what's going on. Are there any outstanding matters that's been happening outside of their football life that is causing them not to want to be here? Or is there any issues that they're facing that prevent them from being in here? And then I'll try to resolve matters with the parents. Yeah, but if it's just the player's attitude, I'll just be straight up to the parents, like your son or your daughter is not ready for my program. What do you think? If they're still pushing for it, then I will tell them that this behavior needs to go. If it doesn't go, then I don't think it's befitting of the program. It's only fair that these players prove to me the 5 factors that we speak of for them to be befitting in my elite program. And once we have that basis, once we have that the structure, that standard that we set out, which is our pride values, the parents more often than not will actually have a word with the players. And then it's really entirely up to the players whether they want it or not. If they want to make a change, they go for it. If they don't want to make a change, then unfortunately, we will lose even better players. For me, you're a performing player, but you don't participate, you're out. If you're a participating player, you're always showing willingness to learn, I'll be more willing to take that in. And also it comes with experience. I don't like sanctioning out players because just because you're good doesn't mean the team has to play, the team play will have to revolve around you. Like it's all these participating players around you that actually makes up the team, and they are the bulk of the team. If you don't work with them, like eventually you'll get tired out. You will realize that you will not be able to do things on your own. You will need these participating players who are supporting the team. So there's a lot of team effort, and me drilling to them that it is a team effort. It's not an individual effort. Yeah. So to answer your question, Kyle, participating is definitely much more important than just performing. Like I'm willing to lose one performing player that can make a change in the team to have 10 participating players who are always willing to learn, because out of these 10 participating players, maybe I can make 2 to 3 performing players out of this. Yeah, that's what coaching is all about, developing, nurturing.
I see.
Yeah.
So we've been speaking for around 50 minutes, so I think I will ask for one more question and then we are done.
Sure.
Don't want to take up any
Sure.
time. Jen,
Sure.
Ashraf, you got anything?
Okay. Ashraf, anything on your side?
You said your players come to you with lots of problems, and I understand you said your players will come to you with personal problems. I know as a coach myself, we're not always equipped to deal with these problems. Have you ever had to refer to another professional for your players' problems?
At present, not yet, but I have had situations where it requires professional help. But fortunately for me, I think I didn't have to like seek that professional help to refer to my players to. Like they have themselves identified that they need professional help, and they have sought for themselves. And also very, very much fortunately, their parents are very supportive in them seeking this kind of professional help. So I'm happy to know that. And what I take note of my presence as a coach to them, as a figure that they look up to when it comes to football in trainings, is for me to like continuously motivate them football wise, so that they can see that football is something that they can look forward to have, to help them deal in one way or another, directly or indirectly, with whatever issues or matters that they face in their life in general. Yeah, and it has helped for a bit. Of course, sometimes these players who need to seek professional help, they might not do as well in certain periods of time. So that's where I need to understand and give them a breather, and get them settled on whatever help they need first. And then once they're ready, check on them, check on their parents, and see whether they are able to join us back in football. And if it's very unfortunate that they will not be able to join us, like I told, I like how I am as a person myself, I do maintain relationships with players and parents. So even if they don't play football anymore, and these players are good players at heart and individuals, I will still drop a message to the parents once in a while to check on them, say hi, and see how they're doing in life, just to give that a little bit of like sentimental touch for these players to know that, like I'm no longer in football, but my coach is still like wanting to know about me and everything. So that in a way can actually help them to see that, like football isn't about football all the time. Like as long as you have a figure that you can actually trust and you can actually look up to, you can always have that help that you need to seek for whatever issues or matters that you have. Yeah. Professionally, unfortunately for me, they have actually seek for themselves. But maybe I would just be open with the fact that these players, there are a lot of foreign expats. So while the parents are busy working, a lot of times they actually feel like they don't have like adult figures around them. So that's where they hang out more often with their friends. And these friends are the ones that actually give them this kind of adult figure advice. It may not be the best of situations for them to be giving this kind of advices because they are friends and so on. They are people of the same age. So I've had an instance where this player, she's currently playing in Hong Kong right now already. She's back in Hong Kong with the family. Like she's always been very how do I say, like she's a good player, but I do notice that she will always be a little bit closer to me in terms of how she wants to relate to matters, whether it's football or general matters in that sense, talk to me about school and everything. And I've always wondered why it's always her that's coming up to me and speaking to me prior to sessions, after sessions. And then I came to realize when she left, she dropped me a very a very heartfelt message that, she thanked me for being there for her because her dad has not been around because always been working. So she looked up to me because as her father figure. So that's why she engages in this kind of conversations with me, because I think she wants to have that father figure, and like good for her that she looks for someone to fill up that father figure, even though I am definitely not befitting to be like working out whatever responsibilities that her father will be able to do for her. But at least I can be there for her as an adult figure, as a father figure that she speaks of as well. So I'm happy to know that. And I know that then it makes me feel very contented, very accomplished that outside of football, I have made a difference in someone's life as well. Yeah.
Oh, that was touching.
Yeah.
It was for definite. Like when I received that long message from the play, I still keep the message until now, even though she has changed number, because it's something very heartfelt. And to me, that is the ultimate goal that I would like to actually achieve when it comes to coaching. Football is football, but you want to show that, football can actually affect life as well. Right? Sports in general in Singapore, like it's not just all about achievements and everything. It's about how you actually cultivate and develop players to be like better individuals for the future. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for the question, Ashraf. That was a good
one. Okay. Any more? If not, any more, Jen? Because I think
maybe one,
more than 1 hour.
One last question. One last question. Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
So I'm actually keen to know, you have been like unofficially coach for like 13 years and then been a coach for about 10 years. So how long do you see yourself continuing on this journey? And what's your next step? Like if there's any like dreams that you have, like being a coach, and then what's the next big dream that you have?
Okay, if we're gonna be very idealistic, for sure, I would like to actually be at that professional level where I can be doing coaching for a certain level. So I've always tried to figure out what is this level that I'm actually looking at, whether I am actually wanting to follow my Gavin's footsteps in stepping into the professional scene for men's football. But then I do realize that I have a better touch in like women's football. So what I look forward to in the near future would be for me to obviously attain those certifications that allow me to be conducting to be doing coaching for a professional scene for women's football. But more importantly, it's not just to be at a club level, but hopefully, maybe be involved in the national program and ultimately to make a difference in that, because as of now, we can see that there is a plateau to women's football in Singapore. They were heightening up for a period of time. You can see like sponsors like Nike coming in to actually have them have the better football experience when it comes to national football. And then after a while, I realized it kind of plateaus off because I don't know, standards it's just not quite there. So and it's just apt that I'm also running girls football, and my colleagues actually they will come out actually to me and they say like, you know that like you're one of the few coaches that can actually run a girls session proper. You know, these girls are comfortable with you when it's not about football, but when it comes to football, they do understand your expectations and they will train just like how any other like males will be when it comes to football. Because you don't see that I'm a girl, I should why is coach getting so like why is coach going down so hard on me like that? Like they do understand the expectations. So like my colleagues tell me that, you know, maybe you should consider like the women's side of football instead of men's football, which to me it totally makes sense because like I have had that touch in my academy right now. I feel like I can make a lot more changes in that, which is why I'm currently running a coaching program for one of the women's national league teams. And hopefully from there, with my qualifications and certifications, it can give me enough credentials for me to move forward into a more professional scenes in women's football. Yeah. To answer your question, Jen, how long more I see myself in coaching? A lot more. Career-wise, like definitely a lot more. It's just along the way whether I can actually keep up the fire and the passion and to continue having the drive and desire and the energy to run. But like I love coaching, which is why I mean it in the first place, right? But I've ever thought about it, even if I'm gonna enter the golden age where you don't have that energy to be running very impactful sessions anymore. You know, like I can always still have coaching as a sideline if I retire and whatnot, because it's just a simple job for me, you know. You just be there and then you be more of like a mentor because of the amount of experience that you have had and the amount of understanding and awareness that you have had in football, which will definitely be very useful and very helpful for the next generation of coaches that can be learning from me from. So if you ask me, I cannot put a number to it, but it will be my life for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, it will be my life. Yeah.
good.
Hopefully nothing physically bad happens to me that doesn't allow me
touch wood.
to yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean I'm just saying, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's where I'm looking at. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm. No worries.
All right. I think that's long enough. You should have enough to write our report.
Our report,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am so sorry, guys. You gotta sieve through.
It's okay. We have a lot to.
No.
The three of
Yes.
us have a lot to write on now.
Yes,
Right.
which is good, which is good. Thanks for doing the interview for
No,
us.
no worries at all.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anytime, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay,
And
Thank you.
really good luck with whatever
Yeah,
that you guys
okay.
are having for your module. I know principles of coaching, very specific methods that you guys have to deal with. But I think looking at your interview questions, because I've done something specific to coaching I get before when I was doing my degree and also my master's. Looking at the questions that you have had to interview me, you're really spot on with regards to what you have. So you're on the right track, sure. So hopefully my answers are gonna keep you on track
Yes.
and
Yeah,
get you the A that you deserve, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you again, Ikwan. Stay
No worries
safe.
at all.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ikwan.
Don't
Yeah.
forget
Yeah,
to
thank you.
to do the forms, the one I sent you by email.
Oh yeah. Actually, I was about to let you know, Kyle, and also for the rest of them, FYI, like the forms are already ready. It's just that I wasn't able to send out to you. I was meaning to send
Can, no
out to you
problem.
just
Because
yeah.
that's due like end of April. Just that I scared you forget.
Oh no. Yeah, no worries. I'll send it out. And if the English is not complete, just help me complete it, because I didn't know it
Can,
was
bro,
meant to be sent out.
can.
I thought it was meant for you guys to just have a reference. Yeah.
Yeah, no, never
Yeah.
mind.
No, it's good. It's good.
Thank you so much. Just one question. If you're looking at, I'm just looking at my whatever demographic that you guys are putting on. Maybe you don't forget to change the level into like youth, so you can put as head of goals program, because I'm running
Okay,
I'm supervising the head of goals program, but
Okay.
specifically I'm running the sessions for goals 15 and 16. Yeah, I mean
Okay.
15 to 17. Yeah.
15 to 17.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Yes.
guys. Again.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Okay,
Good
Thank
stay
luck.
safe,
you.
Good luck with
Iquan.
your
Thank you.
course. Thank you.
Okay,
You
thank
too.
you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank